What's up, everybody? How we doing? Now, listen, the biggest star in combat sports, boxing, kickboxing, MMA, wrestling, whatever it is, whether the guy's got a broken leg, 2 great legs, 3 legs, 4 legs, whatever it is, the biggest star in combat sports is Conor McGregor. And he says that without question that he's fighting for the lightweight title upon his return. So we're going to talk about it because I don't know if he does get to do that or not. But we're going to break it down. We're going to look at the details. But still, before I do, I want to tell you about IP Vanish, okay? IP Vanish is an app that you download and it protects you when you're online. When you go online, when you're browsing the web, there's all kinds of dangers you can fall into. There's lots of people trying to hack into you, trying to get your personal information, your social media information, and of course, your financial information. Of course, certain countries that you might visit if you travel the world, certain websites that you can go to, certain websites that you can't go to. With IP Vanish, you can select the country that you're supposedly in and you can do whatever you want. But more importantly, you can browse the internet safely. There is no danger. So go to ipvanish.com/Bisping or just click the link in the episode description below. And yeah, okay, let's get into it. All right, how are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Now, without question, the biggest star in the whole of combat sports. Yes, you know who I'm going to talk about, Conor McGregor. But I'm not just going to talk about Conor McGregor. I'm going to talk about the lightweight title picture. Of course, I think it's fair to say that the lightweight division in the UFC is the most star-studded division right now, and it gets the most attention. It used to be the light heavyweight division. Back in the day, the light heavyweight, the 205-pound division, they called the glamour division. Now I believe the glamour division is 155. And of course, the biggest star, whether he's the champion or not, is Conor McGregor. Now, we know the story with Conor. Everyone knows it. He fought Dustin Poirier twice this year. He got beat by Dustin Poirier twice this year. And last time he was in there, he snapped his leg at the end of round 1 against Conor McGregor. Against Dustin Poirier, pardon me. And a lot of people, in my opinion, you know, when he snapped his leg, I don't think that fight was going to change. Okay, I think had that fight continued, Dustin Poirier was going to cruise to another victory. As we know, in January, Dustin knocked him out. I think that fight was trending towards another knockout. However, if you're a major Conor McGregor fan, and if you're Conor McGregor himself, then that is kind of like the saving grace. It's like, well, I didn't get beat, I snapped my leg. So when he comes back, right, what makes sense? Well, another fight with Dustin Poirier. That would seem like a logical fight. And that is also why now Conor McGregor is out there tweeting that when I come back eventually, I am fighting straight away for the lightweight championship of the world. Deal with it. Okay? And that makes sense if, of course, Dustin Poirier wins. As I said, as of right now, all right, they are 2-1 in favor of Dustin Poirier. But as I say, if you're on the side that was a leg break and the leg break caused Dustin to win, then you could make an argument that maybe they're 1-1 and that last fight didn't count. I'm not in that camp. I think that was a legitimate win, right? You go out there, things break, noses break, orbital bones break, hands break, legs also break, you know what I mean? And when they break, they happened in combat, so therefore that's a legitimate win. But still, I can see an argument. I can see a logical argument as to why, no, but come on, that was kind of out the blue. That wasn't something that normally happens, and therefore that fight shouldn't really be counted and shouldn't be counted as the rubber match. That shouldn't be counted as the final say-so in the trilogy or the rivalry, pardon me, of Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. So there's the scope for a 4th fight. But of course, he has to come back. Now, Conor said this week, he said, I will be full mixed martial arts training or sparring by April. Remember, we're only in November right now, almost December, so that's still 5 months away. By then, a return will be imminent easily, but I must be patient. I will beat this. Now, excuse me, that's 5 months away. A lot can happen in 5 months. If Dustin Poirier was the champion of the world, then I could see an argument or see a world where Conor McGregor does come back and go straight in and fight for the belt. To a lot of people, that might seem crazy, but let's remember everything I just said about the leg break and bloody how they were, you know, they already fought twice this year and the last one. Everything I just bloody said, I don't need to repeat it. But the thing is, the problem, the fly in the ointment for Conor McGregor is that Dustin Poirier is fighting Charles Oliveira. Okay, now at this moment in time, without breaking down the fight, without acting like a bookmaker or an odds maker and giving you the ins and outs and predicting the winner of that fight, there's a 50-50 chance that at the end of this year, Dustin Poirier is the champion of the world. There's also a 50-50 chance that Charles Oliveira is the champion of the world. But if you look at the two of them, there's probably a higher than 50% chance that Dustin Poirier is champion of the world. Dustin Poirier has a good chance of being champion of the world. And if he's still the champ when Conor comes back, then of course, what Conor says there, I'm fighting for the belt when I come back, deal with it. Then that would kind of make sense. But he's not the only fighter out there. There's a lot of people that want to fight for the belt, okay? Namely, Justin Gaethje, Islam Makhachev, Beneil Dariush, and a whole list of other contenders. Now, if you look at the lightweight division and what's happening right now, is that Justin Gaethje just had maybe fight of the year against Michael Chandler. Dana said prior to that fight, if you saw the press conference, this is the number one contender fight. He was already ranked number 2. He won the fight. Therefore, if Dustin wins, and it's a big if, right? Remember, Charles, very, very dangerous person, most submissions in the history of the UFC. We know all of this. If Dustin beats him, then he's got to fight Justin Gaethje next, okay? And if Dustin Poirier can beat Justin Gaethje, which he has done before, let's remember they have fought before, and Dustin won by TKO, 33 seconds of round 4. So, and I think Dustin's got even better by then. That's the incredible thing about Dustin Poirier. Seems to get better each and every single time. So does Justin Gaethje, by the way, so no disrespect to him. But still, there's lots of if, buts, and maybes, okay? What I'm trying to get at is if that Dustin Poirier is not the champion, then I can't see Conor McGregor coming back and fighting for the belt. Now, it wouldn't make sense on paper. It's not my promotion. I don't cut the checks. I don't have a say-so in what happens. But Conor McGregor is the biggest star that the sport's ever seen. So if Conor McGregor comes back and I don't know. It wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. It would be crazy in terms of who deserves it next, but it wouldn't be the craziest thing, let's be honest, And Conor McGregor is that level of star. Now, there's another fly in the ointment. His name is Islam Makhachev. He's fighting Beneil Dariush. That just got signed. Remember, there was that back and forth between Khabib and Justin and Islam, right? And Justin said to Islam Makhachev, why don't you just do your damn job and fight Beneil Dariush? Well, fair play to the UFC and fair play to Beneil and Islam, because that fight's happening, okay? And that fight, I'm not sure when it's happening, but it's going to happen before Conor McGregor comes back. So there's another fly in the ointment if you're in the camp of Conor McGregor. So for Conor to come out here and fight for the belt on his return, it's not crazy. He's a former champ. He's a former lightweight champ. He's the biggest star in the promotion. He still attracts and garners a lot of attention. He still brings a lot of excitement to the sport, and he's still a very, very dangerous fighter. So for all those reasons, of course he could. But right now, there is 1, 2, 3 worthy challenges ahead of him. Number 1 being Dustin Poirier, because he is the challenger, okay? Number 2 being Justin Gaethje, because he's pretty much already got that fight lined up and in the bag. And number 3 is Islam Makhachev if he wins. And let's say number 4, if Beneil Dariush goes out there and beats Islam Makhachev, which might happen. You know what I mean? And then, of course, whoever is the champion at that moment in time has to be injury-free, And if we're going to get through those contenders, they've got to be injury-free to go through a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a weird way that mixed martial arts works. You know what I mean? Timing is everything. So if everything falls into place perfectly for Conor McGregor in wherever it's going to be, because he says he can come back and spar in April. He can start sparring in April, according to his doctor. That's if the next 6 months of recovery goes well. That's if it goes well. But let's assume that it does. That means he can start sparring in April. Doesn't mean take a fight in April. And you don't want to rush back. Certainly if you're Conor McGregor, and I'm not being a hater, these are the facts, he's lost 3 out of his last 4. Okay? If he wants to come back and fight for the belt, if he doesn't get that imminent title shot that he says he does, then he wants to make sure that he damn well wins. Listen, there's a chance that Dustin Poirier doesn't beat Charles Oliveira. There is a chance that if Dustin Poirier does beat Charles Oliveira, he gets beat by Justin Gaethje. You know what I mean? So therefore, he might fight Dustin anyway in the unofficial ending of their beef, so to speak. So you just don't know which way this is going to play out. But as I say, he's not going to start training until April. let's say, and he doesn't want to go straight into training camp. Last thing you want to do is go from having an injury, being out on the sidelines for a while, to straight into a training camp. That is not the way you win world-class fights. That is not the recommendation, or any good coach, certainly this guy, nobody like that. No world-class coach would say, oh, I know, let's go from breaking your leg, being on the sidelines, sitting around for the best part of a year, I mean, maybe longer than a year. When was it, July? Yeah, it'll be longer than a year. Let's go sitting on the sidelines for a year, recovering from a broken leg, straight into a world title fight. I don't think that's smart either. Or go straight into one of the toughest fighters on the planet. After sitting on your ass, not doing much, 2 months of training for a training camp? No way. You want to take your time. You want to ease back into it. And certainly he wants to be careful with that leg. Okay, so he's got a titanium shin bone that he can wrap around anyone's head. But you never know. Titanium, I don't know. Does that break? Maybe it fucking breaks. Maybe it breaks the other leg. Maybe it breaks a hand. Maybe his mind's broken. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that can go wrong, okay, in preparation for a fight. The hardest part about mixed martial arts is getting ready for a mixed martial arts fight. You know, it's not the fight itself. The fight, okay, things go wrong. Things can happen. Things can break. Okay, retinas can break. I can tell you all about many injuries that I've had. But the hardest part is getting ready for that fight. It's going through those rigorous training camps where you've got to push yourself to the limit each and every single day. So as I say, even though you can start sparring in April, I don't know. And of course, this is just assumption from me here. But it's probably going to be somewhere towards the third quarter, one would imagine, before he fights for a belt. And who will be the owner of that belt by then? I have no idea. It could be anyone. It could be Dustin Poirier. It could be Justin Gaethje. It could be Islam Makhachev, Beneil Dariush. Maybe Khamzat Chimaev has lost tons of weight and he's also become the lightweight champion as well. We just don't know what world it's going to be when Conor McGregor gets back into the octagon. But still, there it is. Conor McGregor says he's fighting for the belt. He might just do that. Still, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow.